course, a lot of the talk as of late has been on the threat for severe weather over this upcoming weekend. I've been talking about it. Other people have been talking about it. So let's try to dig in to the latest weather information as of Thursday, late in the afternoon and early in the evening here. So we continue to see a pattern that favors severe weather. It starts on Saturday, but higher end severe weather potential would be maybe Sunday, perhaps Monday of next week. Somewhere in the region. There's some of the latest data coming in is trying to push at least Mondays a little bit further to the east, but a lot of times our weather information is just a little bit too far to the east. Sometimes they're a little bit too fast, especially this time of the year. So here's what we do know. Strong storm system continues to be in the area. A lot of moisture, a lot of tropical moisture increasing out ahead of this here, and there will be little disturbances that will kick out over the weekend. And wherever the dry line lines up is where you're going to be looking for those thunderstorms to develop during the afternoon and evening hours. Of course, we do have a lot of what we call instability. That is where you get the imbalance in the atmosphere, really humid, really warm at the Earth's surface. Above it, it's dry and it's cool. It creates that imbalance. And the more imbalance you see, the stronger the updraft potential can become in these thunderstorms here. And that sharp dry line is also in the area. Now, what we don't know is the arrival of any little disturbances, the time of day. They need to kick out primarily mid to late afternoon for us to see a more robust severe weather type of situation as opposed to early in the morning or at night. Also, some of the latest weather information coming in starting to kind of question the exact position and where the best target would be for these storm systems to move into to help produce your more significant event, perhaps on Monday there. So the location of the dry line, that'll have a big impact of it. Further east, we'd put maybe our eastern counties in the threat for some severe weather, while the west doesn't see much. Further west would put more of us into a severe weather threat here. And, of course, who sees storms will all be determined by all these features, and I know it's very confusing, but we'll try to talk about it more in detail here in just a moment. First of all, the satellite imagery, actually water vapor, you can see a nice spin up here, some severe weather up here in the Wisconsin and Illinois, and this will kind of spread over into maybe Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio overnight tonight, and then tomorrow there could be some a little bit further to the south of there. But if we kind of fly out to the west into the Pacific Ocean, we're going to kind of watch and see how things evolve back here. It's hard to see it, but there's a little leftover piece of energy sitting back in here, and this is creating southwesterly flow aloft. This is what we call the subtropical jet stream. And there's also another spin, another disturbance that's going to be forced to kick down and drop just like this over the weekend and early next week. That's going to carve out a pretty good storm system over this way. Out ahead of it, we get plenty of moisture, and as these little disturbances kick out, they can help produce those thunderstorms here. So if we look at these little pieces of energy, upper level energy is what we call it here. If we put this in motion here on Saturday, there's a piece of energy kicking out. So wherever the moisture is on Saturday, there could be some severe weather with that. I don't think that's the bigger severe weather concern, but there could be some with that on Saturday. We'll keep an eye on that. Now, as we get into Sunday, here we are Sunday morning, you're beginning to see the influences of our main storm system kind of out here in the southwestern part of the country. There's also another one kind of linking up with it here. And we'll have to watch that because that can actually have an impact on what happens with these storm systems here. If this little system happens to link more over to the east with it, it could wind up pushing our severe weather threat east. But if it winds up going more so on the back side of it, it could cause the storm system to actually intensify a little bit. Then that might give a bit of a better threat for severe weather on Monday as the main system begins to kick out. But on Sunday at least, no major impulses. You see some impulses up to our north here, but there is little ones down this way. And that might be just enough to help produce some storms along and east of that dry line there on Sunday afternoon and evening. And if we do get those storms again, they would be rather significant. So you've got a lot of wind energy in the atmosphere at that point in time, large levels of what we call instability. And that would certainly be a system we would need to watch. So Sunday could be a severe weather day as well. Monday, there's your main storm system. Kind of back in here. It's kind of a bit stretched out as well. There's some little disturbances early on. But as we get into the afternoon, this is when you need everything to kind of come together. A lot of the energy kind of lags back, or it may be kind of tilting a little bit, kind of in this direction here some. If that happens, it would push the dry line more over here. But if the system's a little bit slower, or if it tilts back this direction a little bit to the left here, it might pull the dry line further back to the east. In my experience, typically speaking, our storm systems are they're a little bit too fast. Our computer models are, that is. And they're usually too far east with the dry line. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how it all kind of lines up. For now here, I do have a threat for some severe weather. Kind of hard to see it, though, underneath here. But severe weather threats, I think the best threat on Sunday may be kind of down in this area, isolated up here. Of course, the dry line looks like it'll be somewhere located pretty close to Wichita Falls Sunday afternoon, maybe just a hair east. We'll see. Now, on Sunday, of course, that was Saturday. Here's Sunday. Now, still some question marks in regards to how everything will come together. Looks like that dry line will be in a better position, perhaps, for some severe weather, some isolated storms to pop up there in the afternoon along and east of it. And I don't think there'll be a widespread coverage on Sunday. So if we do get it, they'll be able to remain fairly isolated or discrete. And they'll have a better opportunity to really take full advantage of that atmosphere. So if we do get those supercell storms, large hail and tornado threats would be with us here. Now, as we get into Monday, there's your main storm system. I'm going to draw the dry line a little bit further back to the west, but our weather information, again, kind of has it more over into kind of here. So if we do wind up and everything can come together, perhaps maybe a pretty high impact severe weather event over a larger area there on perhaps Monday here. If you kind of look at the dry line, it looks like something's happened to my data. There it is. This is from the GFS computer model. It kind of mixes it out to the east. The NAM has it a little bit more over in this area here. The NAM is probably a little more reliable in terms of the location of the dry line here. Now, Sunday, you can see it really, really sharpening up there. A lot of good moisture, pretty humid out ahead of it. And then we get into Monday. Again, it shows that dry line, pretty sharp, but it kind of has it kind of located kind of east of Oklahoma City and kind of east of Wichita Falls. And this would put the bigger severe threat kind of over into here along 35. But that remains to be seen. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit further to the west here. It's still several days away. Bottom line is we need to really get through Saturday and Sunday to and see how all that plays out before we get too focused on anything that may happen on Monday. I think the system will be out of here on Tuesday. So bottom line, we'll just keep an eye on things as we head into the weekend. No reason to be super concerned about the weather here. Just keep an eye on it. And remember to have reliable sources of information in regards to who you trust and where you get that information from is a big deal, because a lot of people will overhype it and they'll just put down whatever the Weather Service says or whatever Storm Prediction Center says. Here, you're not going to get that. I'm going to give you my gut feelings. I'm going to give you trends with the computer models. And we'll kind of keep you in the loop that way. All right, everybody, we will have more updates as needed Friday and into the weekend. Until then, just kind of stay tuned.